All right, a few more people are joining, so we'll give it a moment. Welcome to everyone who just joined. I feel like I should have some background music. I'm sure some people are fancy and can do that, some like waiting room music or something, but I'm not able. I'm not that up on the Zoom yet. Welcome, welcome. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started in, again, 2 minutes. We'll just give a few of the people maybe that are lagging or trying to log in a chance to join before we start officially. And if you just entered, I'm gonna go ahead and keep you all on mute until the end, where we'll have time for questions, just because we've got about 40 people signed up, and I just want to make sure we're not like all talking over each other. But if you do have a question during the presentation, you can feel free to use the chat, and I'll kind of look over and answer periodically. And then of course, there will be a chance at the end if you guys have any questions, you can, take yourself off mute and ask those questions. Let's see, we're up to 24. We'll wait till 5 after, and then I'll go ahead and get started. Let's see. All right, so we're at 3:05. This is the time, so I'll go ahead and get started. I did want to just say, first of all, I really appreciate your time today. I know it's very valuable, and I appreciate you guys coming to join and learn a little bit more about martPath and how you guys can use it with your students, especially during this time of distance learning. It is a new obstacle for every educator out there right now to try to navigate. So any way that we at the center can help you and support you guys and provide you with any type of materials that we can so that you guys can share our resources with your students, we are happy to do that. Just a little bit of background about martPath before we get started. So martPath was developed as a result of a gift that the center received from one of its board members. And this board member found that there was a huge lack in quality online resources for financial literacy, in particular in the elementary level. So the center retained the services of 2 leading firms. One that was an Australian company with worldwide expertise in financial education, as well as a US company known for its creative digital education applications. And in addition to that, we also partnered with teacher focus groups and did a lot of test marketing to figure out what you as a teacher wanted from a curriculum, in particular for financial literacy. So a few things about martPath before I share my screen and show you all of the nuts and bolts. While there are a lot of online resources that were developed for only teacher use or only student use, one of the major unique factors of martPath is that it was designed to be a teacher-led classroom experience. Of course, I know that this is a little bit different now since we are all looking for something that's a little bit more of a distance learning platform. So we are going to share today with you how you can still use martPath with your students during this time of distance learning, or if you would like to wait until we know this is all going to end eventually. So if you do want to take this resource and wait until next school year, you can also do that. But there's flexibility, and I'm going to show you a couple ways that you can do both with your students. Another way that it is a flexible platform is, so let me back up, sorry. It's very flexible in its terms of delivery. It's suitable for classrooms with access to a full computer lab, tablets, or with one shared computer, which I'll show you all the different ways that you can do that. There's also flexibility in the grade levels that you want to teach with your students. So martPath is available for 1st through 8th grade. So we have curriculum aligned to state standards for 1st through 8th grade. However, if you as a teacher log in and create a platform, create an account, you have access to all 8 grade levels. So that is one way that it's flexible. We know that some teachers who are maybe a 3rd grade teacher will look at the 3rd grade curriculum and look at the 2nd grade curriculum and realize, oh, my 3rd graders need to know these financial literacy concepts. They have not been taught that yet. So you can go down into grade 2. So there's a flexibility with how you want to implement it or what grade level you want to implement with your students as well. So it's a perfect pairing also for how you're going to structure it, either in your classroom or during distance learning. You can structure it to meet your needs, making it perfect for either special education teachers or gifted, depending on your population of students. So here is where I'm going to go ahead and try to share my screen with you guys. And again, I'm going to ask for a quick thumbs up from somebody letting me know that you guys see my screen. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna show you, first of all, how to access martPath. So to access it, you're just going to navigate to smartpath.online. And then you're gonna scroll down and click on the green Launch Portal button. Okay, so for those of you that already have a login, this is where you will log in. If you've done any type of workshops or anything with us at the center, you should already have a login. If you have not, you're going to click on Create Account and fill out all of this information. And then you want to make sure that this box right here is checked, because that's what's going to actually give you access to martPath. And then click on Create Account, and then it's going to send you an activation link to your email. Once you click on that, you'll have access. But I will go ahead and use an account that I've already created. So I'm just going to show you a few of the basic features of martPath so that you are become familiar with the platform. So the first thing is the grade level selection, which is in the top left corner. And as you can see, as soon as you log in, whether you choose that you're a 2nd grade teacher, whether you choose that you're a 7th grade teacher, you are going to have access to all of the grade levels as soon as you log in. So right here is where you're going to select the grade level. So let's do level 1 for the sake, and by the way, level and grade are used synonymously for the sake of the martPath platform. Now that was something that we did just recently change, because we did have a lot of teachers saying that, let's say they do have a student, a special education student, or just a student in the general population. If you choose as a teacher to do grade 3 and you have a 4th grade student, we had some students asking, well, why am I doing grade 3 work? So we did change the names to level for all grade levels. So level 1 is grade 1. Still, it's aligned to grade 1 standards, but that's just so that you know why it says level instead of grade. So once you click on the level, over here is how you're going to basically navigate through the curriculum. So the overview section is going to give you a summary of the storyline for that grade level, and at a high level, the content that's going to be covered. It also is a tab where the standard alignments are for the lessons, as well as the National Jumpstart Financial Literacy Standards. And there is a heavy focus on integrating economics and personal finance into the other core subject areas, in particular math. So right here is where you'll see kind of an overview of the storyline for grade 1. And then down here is all of the standards that are mapped to Ohio's content standards. So as you'll see for grade 1, level 1, you're going to have math, you're going to have social studies, and these economic concepts, and then these financial literacy standards are also going to be hit. And then if you toggle over here, these are the National Jumpstart Financial Literacy Standards that are also met for grade 1. So the next thing you will see is a pre-assessment tab. So the pre-assessment is going to be for both the teachers and the students at this point. So to navigate to the pre-assessment for the teachers, you'll just scroll all the way down here. And it's just 3 quick questions for you as the teacher to answer. It's just a sliding scale. So rate your students' knowledge of needs and wants from 0 to 6. So literally all you will do is click on it and it will capture that for you as a teacher. And this would be done before you implement anything with your students. So to enter the I'm going to actually pause and go into the lessons first, and then I'll show you how to do the pre-assessment. So the pre and the post-assessment are the exact same. So let me show you how to get to the lessons first, and then I will go back to the assessments. So on the lesson tabs, each grade for each lesson is set up in the exact same format. The concepts that are covered in the lesson are listed along with the learning objectives. So there's lesson 1, and over here you're going to see the concepts that are going to be taught during that lesson, as well as the learning objectives. And then if you scroll down, you're going to also see the materials checklist. This overview is super helpful for teachers when you guys are planning out the delivery of your lessons. Each component of the lesson is listed along with the times needed. So for example, for grade 1, the opening video is going to run about 6 minutes. And then you're going to have some discussion questions, and then a little interactive game, and then another video discussion. So this is another way for you to be flexible with your delivery of the platform. So if you want to do the whole thing in one class session, you have that ability. However, you can also break it down and do maybe 6 minutes during your morning meeting, or 6 minutes in your discussion and do the rest of it later in the day. So that's another way that there is flexibility with the curriculum. So another thing to point out is if there's any materials needed, it will be right here. So some of the lessons actually do have additional, let's see, I believe each grade level has at least one additional activity that you can print out and also play with your students. So that will be listed in the materials checklist area. So that's the overview. Now to enter the lesson, you will click, oh, another thing I do want to point out is that you can also print off a PDF of this lesson overview that you can kind of have ready for you to kind of review as you're going over it. So let's enter the lesson by clicking the top right corner. So here's another time where I will ask you guys to thumbs up if you can hear the sound. I'm going to turn it up and hope that technology is on my side today. So let's see. So you're going to click on, you can either click here or click on the space bar.
Oh.
All right, do you guys hear that?
Yay. How are you today?
Okay.
Well, So
I'm going to go ahead and play you about a minute into this. So this is just kind of an example of the intro of one of these lessons. So just watch and relax.
Can't hear what you're saying, but I thought it was polite to ask. I'm your narrator for today. That means I'm going to tell a tale. A tale of greatness and bravery and honor. It's a tale of 2 things which you probably use every day, but you might not even know it. These things are called goods and services. To learn about goods and services and how they work, we need to go back to a time where there were no cars, no light bulbs, no lollipops, no bikes, no internet, and even no me. We're going back to the year 1718. Do you know who was around in 1718? Pirates. Yarr! Meet Blackbeard. He was called Blackbeard because beard was black. No, black. Black. Yes, that's right. Black.
Yar, that's right. This here beard is how I got my name. Yar!
He did all the things that pirates did, like jousting on sharks, talking to parrots, and stealing golden treasure. But in nearby Hampton, Virginia, there was someone who wanted to put a stop to Blackbeard's shenanigans. That someone was this gentleman here. Good day, Robert Maynard. That's Lieutenant Robert Maynard of the British Royal Navy, but let's not be too formal. You can call me Rob. Thanks, Rob. So I understand that to capture Blackbeard, you need to prepare a few things. That's right, I do. And what are they, if you don't mind us asking? Well, I have to fix the sails so I can sail. I need to buy more rope to tie up Blackbeard when I finally catch him. I'll need lots of rope so he doesn't get away. I need some salted pork to feed my crew, the saltiest pork possible. I'd like a fiddle to play some music while at sea. It's easy to become terribly bored, you see. This way I can keep up my fiddle practice, and maybe one day I'll become a professional fiddler. Maybe I need to plug a little leak in my ship. At the moment, it's being plugged by a cork. Genius. But we're not going to get very far with a cork in the hull, are we? Interesting. Here's a question, Rob. Do you know which of these are goods and which of these are services? Goods? Services? What on earth are they? Say, Rob, let's head to town and see if we can find some examples of goods and services. Oh, splendid! I could certainly use a break from all my work here. Let's go!
All right, so while I won't play the entire video for you, this is basically highlighting what is going to be covered for level 1. So Maynard needs to get and do things on his list, some of which are goods and some of which are services. He needs money to do these things on his list. So students are going to count along with the narrator to see how many coins Maynard has. And then there's a price sheet that's presented with the price for each thing. And students are going to use like an online calculator to add up the total cost. Spoiler alert, he does not have enough money to get everything on his list. So he needs to make a spending priority list by sorting things on the list from most important to least important. And it doesn't matter what students indicate as most important. What matters is that they indicate, basically, if you look at the list, he's going to need food for his crew. Is he going to need a fiddle for entertainment? I mean, that is more of a want versus a need. So the students are going to explore that within the context of the story. So after the video, I'll show you how to navigate over here in the top, the right corner. If you click right here, these are all of the different areas of lesson 1. So you've got the video, then you're going to go into that class discussion, and that class discussion is on that lesson overview. So you'll have the questions ready for you. Now, if you are going to share this with your students to do during distant learning, you might want to tell them during class discussion, answer these questions. You know, that's where you will need to figure out or navigate how you want to do that with your students. So, and then the next thing I wanted to show you is the interactive portion. If it will load.
Okay. Let's see how well you can tell goods and services apart. Let's say Joel teaches Olivia how to do a cartwheel, and in return, Olivia gives Joel a piece of chocolate. Which one is a good? Which is a service?
So this is where, again, depending on how you want to implement this, the students could have access to this on their computers, and you would basically you would drag and drop. So which is a good? The chocolate bar is a good. Ding. And if it's wrong, I'll show you the really lovely noise it makes. Yeah, woo, very annoying. If it's a cartwheel is a service, and it's going to keep going into different examples.
And then use the rake to clear up some leaves on a sidewalk. Which is a good and which is a service?
So it's going to keep moving you through different examples, but I'm going to go ahead and move us through. So this is the cool thing about the platform and the curriculum as well. So it goes into the story of the pirate, and then you go into the discussion, and then it's going to go into a personal, within the student's realm of the world, raking and things like that. And then it's going to weave back into the storyline. So the next interactive is back to the story. So give that a moment to load.
Let's take another look at the list. If you think something is a good, drag it over here. If you think it's a service, drag it here.
So as soon as the students will have these choices down here, and let's say, they're like, this is a rope. Let's see. I think it's a good, and then it will share, the narrator will come back in.
That's right. A rope is a good. Even today's sailors know lots of special knots because these help keep things secure on a ship where sometimes rough storms make it hard to keep everything on deck. Oh, and don't forget they help keep treasure-thieving pirates secure on a ship as well. That's very important.
And then it'll take you back into the different options. So, and then it goes back into the story video.
I couldn't have done it without you. Now that I know this, I can go buy my goods and services and stop that pesky Blackbeard from stealing all the gold from our ships. We saw today that goods are things that you can own, like a pet elephant, or food that you can eat. Services are actions that people want done, like mowing the lawn, or shoveling snow, or teaching someone math. Everything you use can be called a good or service. Goods and services are important because you use them every day, and many of them are necessary. How else would you eat when you're hungry if people didn't sell you food? How would you wear new clothes when your old ones fall apart? How would you learn new things without someone teaching you? One day, you might provide a good or a service to your local community.
So yeah, that is, and then if you go back here, there's a final class discussion questions. Now to exit the lesson, you're just going to click in the top left corner, and it's going to ask you, yes, I do want to exit. So then you're back here to your portal. And then just so you know, where it says discussion in the lesson, these are the questions that you either can be leading your students if you are going to teach this yourself, or you could post these questions somewhere and kind of tell your students, all right, when you get to the discussion, this is where you are going to this is what you're going to ask. So each grade level has 3 lessons, and each lesson is structured the same exact way. So that would be lesson 1, and then you would move on to lesson 2, and it's going to follow the same characters and the same storyline. So throughout the whole, the rest of it, you're going to follow Lieutenant Maynard as he tries to capture Blackbeard, and then you're going to, the students are going to ask, try to figure out what happens next, and they really get excited and interested in the storylines as you show them to them. So what I do want to show you right now is how to actually share these lessons with your students so that you can have them do it during distance learning. So you as a teacher need to create a login in order to access all of this stuff. Your students do not need to create a login, okay? So in order to share any of these lessons with your students, it's very, very simple. So I'll just back up a little bit. So let's just go right back into the lesson. Like I said, all of them are identical. So let's go to lesson 2. And just like we did before, we're going to enter the lesson. Now, if you want to share this lesson, this little part right here with your students, all you need to do is this link right here. You're going to copy it. You're going to paste it wherever you are sharing your material with your students. A lot of teachers I know are using Google Classroom. I don't know. I know there's a lot of different, maybe Blackboard. However you are sharing your material with your students, all you would need to do in order to have full access of this entire lesson with your students is copy this link and paste it. And of course, this would need to be, oh, I've got some chat questions here. Let's see. How would a teacher simultaneously have students complete the sorting game? Okay, so here's where it's different. They will not be able to do it simultaneously with regards to, I mean, they all can do it, but they won't be able to interact with each other. So during this distance learning, it's going to be an independent, the students are going to do it on their own. I mean, if you wanted to try to do it via Zoom, that could be a thing that you do, and you could share your screen and kind of have the kids kind of chime in, and then you could lead it. That's something that you could also do. That's a new thing that I just thought of. But if you did want, if you just want to have something that the students can access right on their own, they will have to move through it on their own with this link. But that's a very good question. So yeah, if you have any other questions, they're like kind of popping up here. So feel free to ask them as I'm going through. But yes, so in order to share this, you just truly copy and you paste it in a different link, and you paste it and boom, it is there. It does not expire, which I was excited about because I thought, oh wait, so you're logging in and there's no way for the student to, let's say, delete some of it to get back to your portal. It's just this separate link that you can share, and it will obviously go, if you want to share lesson 1, you're going to have to go to enter lesson, and then this is a unique one for lesson 1. See lesson 1, grade 1, lesson 1, and then to do lesson 2, you'll go to enter lesson, grade 1, lesson 2. So each one is separate. So, and then each grade level is the exact same, and it is set up the exact same. So if we just want to, let's just go into lesson level 3. So again, every single grade level across the board is structured the same exact way. So for level 3, grade 3, you're going to get your overview of what's taught, your standards, your lessons. There's always 3 lessons. And to enter the lesson, you'll go here. So, and then you just copy and you paste this link, and then your students will have access to this portal right here, where you can have them go in, tap here, press the space bar, and it'll show them the video.
It's time for Ronan and Toby to sell their pizzas.
And then they can click over here if you want, or they can move through. And again, the only thing that it will not have is on these class discussion slides. This is where we've structured it so that you as the teacher will jump in and lead the discussion. But if you did want to do this through distance learning, you could just, however you guys are structuring your distance learning. I would be curious to see how you each are kind of doing it, because I know every single school and every single teacher is kind of doing it a little bit differently. But you could say, hey class, when you get to the discussion part, answer these questions, and they could either type them up, write it out, take a picture, send it to you, however you guys are structuring that. So yeah, let me make sure I'm not missing any questions. Let's see. So that is basically the bare bones of martPath. Now I will go back to, I want to go back, I'm kind of doing this a little bit backwards, to the pre and the post assessment. So if you do, another really cool thing about the platform is that there is the ability to do a built-in pre and post assessment with your students. So we recommend, or we like for our teachers to, before they, now again, it's a little bit different now because of the distance learning and everything. But in an ideal world, we would ask that you guys give your students the pre-assessment ahead of time, then teach the 3 lessons, then give your students a post-assessment, which is identical to the pre-assessment, to kind of see the growth, right? So the good news is that you can easily have your students take these pre and post assessments online via our portal. And I'm going to go ahead and quickly show you how to do that. So let's go back to level 1. And so I showed you how to access the teacher pre-assessment. So to enter the student pre-assessment, you're going to click right up here, enter pre-assessment. Oh, I've got a question. Okay, hang on. Does the old student data get wiped out over time? So this teacher has an old martPath account. I prefer it does, so I can start fresh with new students and not have the old assessment results cluttering my account. So unfortunately, there is not a way to get rid of old assessments. However, I will show you, I mean, it will just kind of stay in your portal, but you will want to start a new assessment in a new class, and I will show you how to do that. So this right here, what you see, let me back up because I don't know if you guys saw how I navigated there. So you're going to go to level 1, you're going to click on pre-assessment, and then you're going to click on enter pre-assessment right up here. Okay. So once you click on enter pre-assessment, what you are seeing right here is actually your preview as a teacher of the pre-assessment. So this is not where your students are going to take the test. This is for you as a teacher to move through and see the questions and preview them. So as you can see, it also shows you the curriculum mapping, or which standard each question covers, which I think is great. And for grades 1 through, I believe it's 3, it might be 2, they actually read the question for you. So you can actually the students can push the play.
Let's meet a group of friends who want to buy some things. Can you help them figure out what they can and can't afford to buy? Jerry has $7. He wants to buy a toy car that
Could you guys hear that? Thumbs up if you could. Okay, so that's great. Again, I think this is another wonderful way for, especially for distance learning, for especially the little ones, to have that extra built-in support. So as a teacher, what I would do is, okay, level 1, I'm going to move through and kind of look at these questions, see if they match up with what my students know. And as you can see, they are also still very interactive, very, colorful and interactive. Some of them are actually drag and drop. So Cosmo wants to make a key lime pie. Let's list these from order of importance. So he only has so much money. So let's say, well, we need to get these more than the plate, right? So again, it's a drag and drop type thing. All right, so as a teacher, I am saying, yes, this looks great. So now I'm going to click up here in the top right to actually start my student pre-assessment. Now, this is where I'm gonna go ahead and end this test because this is one I did earlier. So let's go back. Let's go back to here. We're going to start over again. Start student pre-assessment. So here is where you are going to put in a unique name for your class. So let's just say, I think I'm on first grade. So we'll say Mrs. Schalk 1A. And then this right here is a unique link that you can give, copy and paste again wherever you are having your students have their materials that they can find. This link right here is what the students are going to need in order to take this test. So again, they don't need to log in. They don't need their own account. They just need this link. And let me show you what that link looks like as a student. So I am a student. I'm going to click here. It's going to prompt the student to enter their name. Hopefully they don't get too silly with this, but I mean, you can tell them, please put your real first and last name. So once they start, again, they're just going to go ahead and navigate through each question. They'll click submit. Let's just keep going. The first grade. As you can see, there's only about 10 to 12 questions. I'm moving through as a student. And what I do like to show is if you toggle back here to your portal, you'll actually see a live preview of your students taking this test, which is awesome. And again, it's really interesting because it is interesting to look at martPath from some abilities that you do have now that there is distance learning needs. So this could be another really good thing for you to kind of keep track of your students and what they're doing and how far they're getting on this test. So yeah, so and it shows you a red dot if your student got it wrong, and then a green dot if they got it right. And if you kind of hover, it'll show you the question. So let's go back to the student who is taking the test. Okay, sorry, I've got this little thing at the top that's like, all right, here it is. Okay, so as a student, I'm going to continue to move through. So let me just show you. Hang on. This is the, okay, how do I move this? Sorry, a little bit of Zoom technical difficulties here. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. All right, so again, I'm just going to continue to move through. I'm the student moving through. Just want to show you what it looks like once the student gets to the end. As you can see there's different modes for questions. So Jasmine offers a music lesson to Sally for $20. What can Sally trade? So they actually have to do a little bit of math here. So we'll keep I'll just do a few more of these. And then, there's some dollars that they have to kind of drag and dropping. So this is a good way for them to practice different skills too, especially at the younger level. All right, so when it gets to the end, I'm almost there. It's going to say end test, and that's where the student is going to know once they're done, they have to click this end test button. And right now it does say, please enter your name. And some students do get confused here and they want to take it again, but they should not do it again. We're working on adding another screen here so that they know not to take it again, but they have to push end test. And as you can see here, thing 1, you'll see a little check mark that says completed. Now, let's see. So you as a teacher, again, this link will be sent to every single one. You can send it to all your students, and then their names will continue to populate here on this account, on this little navigation screen. And once every single one of your students has taken the pre-assessment, you will, as the teacher, click on this end test button right here. And that is what's going to actually collect all of your data, and I'll show you what that looks like. So again, you're not going to want to push end test until all of your students have taken it. But once you have, it's going to collect all your data, and you can download a spreadsheet which has all of your students, all of your students' names, as well as what they got right and their percentage. And it also is going to, let's see if it will let me share this with you. It's going to print out these little certificates for your students that have their names that shows like, oh, they've gone through martPath. I think this is a cute little additional way that they can be sent something either to their parents or something so that they can show that they've been through martPath. So that's also a thing that uses their names and collects it for you so you don't have to type them in. So if you go back to your portal now, as you can see, if you refresh this, it should show up right here once it refreshes. And it's probably at the bottom. Yep. So down here, so basically what one of the teachers was asking, as you can see, I have a whole bunch of different test ones. Those are all going to unfortunately stay there. We don't have a way for you to get rid of those right now, but it will all populate right here. And then this is the one that we just did. So that's why it's kind of important for you to give it a unique name, so that if you do want to use it from year to year, maybe you'd want to say Miss Schalk and put the date. If you do not name it, it's going to just give you the time and whatnot, as you can see right here. So yeah, let me see. And then, so that's the pre-assessment. So again, the flow of the lesson would be go in, give your students a pre-assessment, teach all 3 lessons, and then go to the post-assessment, which is the exact same. You enter it the same way. It's the same exact questions. And that's just for us to see, okay, they've gotten the baseline. You taught all 3 lessons. You give them the post-assessment after you're done, and you can kind of see that growth. And one other thing that we did add is homework. So that's kind of funny because everything is homework now, right? Oh, the irony. But we did add this about a year and a half ago now. And so basically, again, it's following the same characters, and it's just a quick PDF that you could upload or print out. And it kind of just extends the lesson a little bit and kind of solidifies some of the things that they learned during the lesson. One other really cool thing that we did add is this little Zapper app. So this is just like a little thing. It's a very small little app that students or parents can download on their phone. And it's basically like a QR scanner. So what we did, and I will preface this by saying the students do not need to download this and use this in order to complete the homework. This is kind of just another little fun thing we added. So basically you scan it. I'm scanning it here so that you can see. Well, I'm trying to scan. Okay. And it probably is going to be hard for you to see because I think I'm probably pretty small on your screen. But basically what it does is pops up another little additional kind of like Easter egg video that the students can watch. And it's again, for grade 1, it's going to be following the Pirates. And so it's this cool little additional way that they can kind of be, again, connected. Yeah, so there's 2 of them per, oh wait, I guess there's only 1 for level 1. Some of the older grades have 2 little videos. So again, we were trying to think of some unique ways that we could draw in the parents at home, you know? So here's homework, and then maybe the guardian or the parent, the kid goes up to them and says, hey, can you download this app? We're doing martPath at school, and I want to watch this video. So that's just another fun way that we try to interact with the students at home. Again, the students do not need to watch that video in order to do the lesson. It's just a little fun way to extend the lesson. Let's see here. Okay, somebody said that they set up a new class for each period. So that is one way that you could handle the pre and the post assessments. That's a great way to do that. If you are, yeah, that's great. I think that's a smart way to do it. You could say Miss Schalk 3A, period 1, or, you know, I don't know how you set it up, period 2, period 3, and then go from there. That's a good way to do it. So, yeah, that is essentially martPath. So again, I would encourage you to, try this with distance learning. We do think that it could be used pretty effectively. And again, if you don't want to, during this time frame, worry about the pre and the post assessment, you could truly just go right into these lessons and click on the enter lesson, take this link, copy it, paste it, and then your student, wherever they are, has access to this, which I think is really cool. And it could just be a fun way for them to start learning about some financial literacy concepts. And each grade level, like I said, is set up the same exact way. All of them have really fun, kind of goofy characters. Let me see, I do have like a very quick overview, like a sentence or two for each grade level that I was going to share, just so that you can kind of see. We really did try to make them fun for not just the students, but also the teachers. So for grade 2, you're going to learn about Timmy and Tammy, who live above their father's candy store. And grade 2 is about connecting the sale of goods and services to earning an income. So that's grade 2. Grade 3 this is my personal favorite, because it is about, let me go to the overview so that you can see these lovely little skunks. So that grade 3 is about 2 skunks named Ronan and Toby, and they want to go to an amusement park called Stinkland. And the amusement park is very unique because, instead of it having regular roller coasters, it'll have like, a lazy river made from pizza crusts and stuff like that, like stuff that, a third grader would think was kind of funny. So they want to go to Stinkland, but they don't have enough money. So they brainstorm ways to earn money in grade 3. And they decide to sell pizza, but they have a disagreement for how much they should charge for the pizza. One of them wants to charge 10 cents. Another one wants to charge $10. So it kind of talks about that, how do you price things and the cost of production. Grade 4 is about Gil and Jackie, who see a TV advertisement for a pet they want. And it talks about, okay, so you want to talk about getting a pet. What are the one-time costs and what are the ongoing costs for a pet? All right, so grade 5 is about Mac and Cheese, who are 2 bisons who want to enter their school's costume contest, but they don't have enough money. So they have to brainstorm ways to make that money. So it's a kind of cool way for you to start talking to, especially 5th graders, about like, okay, yeah, you're a kid. You don't think that, a lot of kids think, oh, well, I'm too young to make money. But there are some cool conversations that are had, especially in grade 5. Well, you can rake a neighbor's lawn. You can, feed your brother's goldfish. There's just some more creative ways that you can kind of start talking to them about how to earn and save. Let's see, grade 6 is about Janelle and Kelly, who are, their names are Raquel and Stella, who are identical twins. They have a goal that they are in a book club. They both want to buy this book, but they need to make money. So they talk about how to earn that money. So then we have, somebody says that they just tried the Zapper app with a homework page and it works. I'm glad, and it's awesome. Good. We're always glad to hear that things are working and that you enjoy it. So yeah, and then that is essentially martPath. I did want to open it up. Let's see, we've got about 10 minutes left. For those of you that maybe have some questions, you can, if you would like, unmute yourself, and you could ask it in the chat. Or maybe if you have done martPath in the past, if you have any suggestions for how you are planning on doing it during distance learning, you can feel free to speak now. I think you can take yourself off mute. If not, let's see. If not, so basically what I'm going to do, did we have a question? Did I see somebody? Anybody want to share? Okay, so somebody said they've hosted a martPath workshop for teachers. It took a long time to register teachers. Have those issues been resolved? They should have been resolved. That's what I will say. I think what ends up happening is at these workshops, when teachers are all attempting to register at the same time, we are actually, let me back up, we are actually in the process of moving SmartPath. So right now, so we are, I probably should have told you this at the beginning. So SmartPath was created by the University of Cincinnati's Economics Center. And so right now it is actually hosted by the Economics Center's website. So we are actually in the process of moving it to its own server. So hopefully all of that registration all the registration issues should be taken care of. And I think the only time you really have issues is when a bunch of teachers try to register at the same time. So that should be resolved, especially if, you know, you're trying to. But we do have some teachers who don't get the registration link emailed to them to activate. So if that's the case, what I'm going to do after this is send you all a follow-up email. And in that follow-up email, it will have the user manual. So a teacher user manual with everything I pretty much just went over. And then it will have my email address. So if you guys are having issues with registering, or you have a follow-up question, you can just reply back to me and I'm happy to help you navigate any of these questions that you might have. The last thing I did want to also say is that if you guys do want a CEU for attending today, we are happy to give that to you because we really appreciate your time. What I will ask that you do is, again, I'm going to email you all. So if you want a CEU, just reply to that email and say, hello, I would like a CEU certificate, and I will send you one. And that's the easiest way for us to kind of do it, since this is like, I can't really see who, you know, attended or didn't attend. So if you do want a CEU, feel free to email me and I will get that to you. So any other final questions before we part ways?
Yes, Emily, I just want to comment that I did go into my old SmartPath account that I set up a couple years ago, and the student data from that I had is erased. It is gone, which is actually a plus. Yeah.
Okay.
But I know 2 years ago when I did the SmartPath thing with my students, that I wanted to erase some of their data and we couldn't. So I was happy to see that when I logged in today that it was gone, because, you know, now it's 2 years old and I don't want to have that data.
Okay, well that is good to know. Yeah. Okay. I guess I will. Yeah, I will pretend like we did that on purpose now.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if after a year or so, whoever manages the platform just wipes out the old data.
Okay, that might be something.
I haven't used it. Maybe because I haven't used it in such a long time. It's gone.
I will. That's going to be a question that I will ask our the people who created SmartPath. Is that if there is a period of time that it will automatically remove it. So that's a good thing to know and to maybe get some more information on for myself. So good. I'm glad. Anything else before we part ways? Great. All right. Well, I do want to say best of luck, and we at the center are here if you guys do need any additional resources. I know we're doing some, please keep taking a look back at our website, because we are offering some other remote trainings, and I will be sending an email, follow-up email, and again in the email it will have the training manual. And if you do want a CEU certificate, just respond back to that and I will be happy to give you one. And I hope that you all have a great rest of your evening. And yeah, I'll email you all soon. So goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a great evening.
You too.
Stay safe and healthy. How do I unshare my screen?
Emily, can I ask you an off the subject question?
Sure.
We received an email, maybe a lot of us from the, Centers of Economic or Economic Center, that there was another parent Zoom session that took
Yes.
place, and they broke it up into like 3 different groups because there's so many.
Yes.
I was in the first group. I couldn't attend.
Okay.
And I was hoping to get on the second one of the other dates, or at least the recording, and I haven't heard a response yet. I emailed somebody, last name starts with a V, I believe.
Okay.
I was hoping that maybe you had that contact information. Maybe you can connect me with that.
Yes, I can do that. I will. I'm recording your name right now. And what I can do is just, we actually have a meeting. It's on Thursday, right? That's when the next one is.
Yeah, the next one is Thursday at 4. They're all at 4 o'clock, which is the problem. When they're this late, like this one was at 3.
Yeah.
It's surprising that I could even make the 3 o'clock one. By this time of day, I'm gone. It's just I'd rather in the morning, but all your sessions seem to be in the late afternoon. So
okay, so you would want to go to the one this Thursday though, or
if I can, I will make myself available at 4 o'clock Thursday. But if not, the recording would be great.
Gotcha. All right, I will let them know that you would like to be not recorded. I would like that you would like to attend, and then if not, that you would like the recording. Sounds good. I will definitely make sure to get that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I know it's kind of like different subject, but I noticed it's same organization,
Oh, no, absolutely.
Yeah, figured you would know. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good rest of your evening.
You too. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.